Hello everyone and welcome to the first Lost Caverns of Ixalan draft I'm doing here on the channel. I think I'm gonna first pick the Sanguine Evangelist. It's a pretty decent rare, not a bomb rare, but a 2-1 that enters with a flyer and then dies with a flyer too is fine, and this thing even has Battle Cry, which, as you can read, does some slight pumping when it attacks. So it's a fine card. The double striker here is totally first pickable too. Either you get a 1-1 double striker that draws your land, or you get a 2-2 double striker. I would be happy with either of those scenarios. The Scallywag is decent. This is, well, if you can guarantee getting to 7 mana easily, maybe this is fine. It's just a 2 mana 2-2. This is a little clumsy, but really good if you can make it work. Out of the commons, I don't see any high quality commons in here. Nope, the rare is, I think, fairly easy pick. Besides, it's more fun to play with rares because you will have less opportunities, of course, to play with rares than with the lower rarity cards. And this is totally fine in every kind of white deck. It's just a solid 3-drop. And it's definitely much better than your average 3-drop will be. Alright, here we have a Charter Course. Totally a good card. Then there's a Deadweight. Nice removal spell. There's a Earthshaker Dreadmaw, which is really good in a dedicated dinosaur deck. So usually red-green, but you can be maybe green something else too. A Waterwind Scout, really good. I'm not even sure if it's a better pick than a Charter Course here. Yeah, the other options not so important, but that's a lot of picks I could consider taking. I don't think I'm gonna take the 6-drop. I have no idea if I'm gonna be any dinosaur deck. So it's not gonna be that. Charter Course, Deadweight, blue-white, black-white. I'll take the only black card. I mean, it's not the only black card, but the best black card rather than one of the two very good blue cards. But you could take something else there too. I mean, either of those blue cards I think are totally reasonable options to take. Now here I think I will take another Deadweight, but let's consider the other cards. Bat Colony. I wouldn't first pick this thing or any of the cave payoffs because it's not so easy necessarily to get a good cave deck. I mean, a deck that has a very large amount of caves. So it's not really something I'm willing to pick early. But I'm not sure how am I ever gonna go to the cave deck if I don't get some of the payoffs early. I mean, it's a difficult maybe deck to draft, but we'll see. The Glyph is really nice. I like that a lot. This can be fine. There's the counter spell. Don't know if I like that too much. Yeah, I think it's an easy pick of the Deadweight here. Now I would be very happy to take the Glyph here, of course, had I taken a blue card from the previous pack. Okay, so will white be open? Well, maybe. There's a Petrify, there's a Helping Hand, there's a Thousand Moons Infantry, very defensive card. 2-4 for 3. That's actually quite decent stat line if you're looking to stall the game, block things, and then get some expensive payoffs at some point. But it's not going to be the pick here. I think the choice here is between the Helping Hand and the Petrify. There's also the Synapse Necromage though. I mean, actually, the white-black is supposed to be the sacrifice deck, so this is, of course, a very good one in that, and it's also an uncommon. I think I should take it. Yeah, with the Petrify, I have a couple of removal spells already. Let's take a decent 3-drop, and if I get any of the white and black sacrifice, things, this will work well with that. So let's just take here and see if I can continue with the white-black route. Now, I do have only one white card, but it's a very good one. I'm still willing to, of course, change the second color, but based on this pack, it seems I will be playing black as one of my colors, because Join the Dead is just, I'm just gonna take it. 3 mana removal spell that almost always kills everything, and then maybe sometimes you need to descend 4 before you get to kill something big, but the -5 does take care of most targets. There's a Cenote, or is it C-Note? I guess it's like a Cenote. I don't know actually. A Scout here, totally nice 1-drop for green. How about this thing? Yeah, that's a fine modal spell. But yeah, let's take the black card because I will obviously be playing black here now. Okay, this is a pack that makes me want to maybe um, change the direction slightly, not out of black, but maybe out of white. Now there is an Iron Paw aspirant, which is a good 2-drop, I would say. It functions as a 2/3 for 2, but you can put the counter somewhere else too when it's more beneficial that way. And a 2/3 for 2 is a decent one. The Mycoid is an okay 4-drop, but what I'm really interested in here is the Akawali of the Seething Tower. That's a really good, a really good. What's the signpost uncommon for green black? I should take that. I should really take it. I can still move back to white if I get something good, but I should at least keep the option open to utilize this thing, which is good. And I think most of the signpost uncommons are really good, including the Zoyoba Lava Tongue. Yeah, this is also a sweet one. 2/2 Death Toucher for 2, and then some additional value can be also gotten there. Yeah, I think it's an easy pick. I don't really know about my second color. It could be anything. I could take the Hidden Necropolis. I think these cave lands are good enough to pick, over some random playables, but this is no random playable. If I will end up in black-red, this is gonna be one of the better cards in the deck. How about here? Acolyte of Aklazots. Alright, not going to take this one. It would work fairly well with the Synapse and Necromage, but of course there's other considerations too, like this thing, which, okay, craft with a cave, 3 mana gets a land, maybe sometimes whiff, but top 6, yeah, it's not gonna whiff that often, but 3 mana gets a land, even though it accelerates, it's not that amazing. Spider here, what's this? Yeah, this is the... I have no blue card, so I should take the spider here. I think it's totally reasonable because there's also mills too, so it's good with the Akawali. So if I'm gonna play black and green, this actually is gonna work well in that deck. Okay then. Fanatical offering. Fine, playable, but not really a high priority. I'm usually looking to play like 1 or 0 of these, so it's pack 1, no really hurry to take it. Disturbed Slumber, I don't think it's that good. The Final Strike, I'm gonna take that over the Phantom, even though that does some self-mill, but this is a reasonable removal spell, and it kind of seems like I will be black and green. And here I will take the mill too. It's actually close decision between these two, but this has Death Touch, and the mill 2 can really help with decks that has this descent stuff going on, and with black and green, it's actually the descent combination. It has the most payoffs for descending and having a lot of permanents in your graveyard. Alright, I don't think this is really good, but I'm not gonna take the Bat Colony. I have 0 caves right now, so this will be picked by someone else, so I'll just take the Ancestor thing. It could be played in the main deck, but I'm totally fine about getting rid of it, using it as a sideboard card for slower matchups maybe. Alright, Ray of Ruin, acceptable, not amazing. None of this matters. I'm not really that vulnerable to this, am I? Well, I guess I don't care about the 3/3 much either, so okay. Okay, this is some... Okay, I got one of these late. I don't think I'm gonna play it, but let's put it there for now. Hey, what is this? I got the same rare in this pack. I don't quite think it's good enough to splash for it. No. I could try to find a way of splashing, but I don't really think. But I'm really tempted to actually play it. The other picks, there's the Grasping Shadows. I don't have time to maybe explain what this does, but you can pause and read it. It's an interesting card. I'm not sure how good it's gonna be. I know I want to test it. Another Necromage would be a fairly safe pick, but imagine if white is gonna be very open. I actually didn't get that much good green in addition to the Akawali. I mean, none of the other green cards are close to this thing, so I'm actually taking the Evangelist in here, just in case white is gonna be open to this direction, and I'm gonna be sad about not picking the Evangelist in that case. Yeah, this card, I would really want to maybe try to draft around this sometimes, but it's not the time for that right now because I need to really know what I'm doing, and I don't really know right now because it's so early in the set. I'm not taking that. Oh, the Colossus Dactyl is really nice too, but it's a green card. Well, uh, yeah, I'm not. I guess the best card in the pack might just be the Appraiser. Um, this is gonna be very good in the dedicated deck that can really stall for you to be able to craft with this thing. The white cards aren't really that good. This is just a ridiculous power level. I mean, not power level, but I mean, the 4/5 for 4 that has reach and trample. It's really, really big and it's gonna work here. So maybe I will not be able to get the white stuff going on here. I don't actually see that much white here. So maybe it's cut from both directions. There is a Kutzil. This is the green-white. I suppose sort of a signpost uncommon, but it's less like a signpost uncommon and more like just a good card. The green and white don't really have a lot of payoffs for the, you know, power greater than the base power thing. But this is just a good card when you are green-white. It's just not gonna be the pick because I will be black here. I guess I could be green-white, but I have enough good black here that I'm not gonna ignore that. So, what it's gonna be? I don't think I like that too much. Uh, I have to pick something I don't care about this too. Um, fine, let's try the siege stones. I don't think it's that good, but I will try this maybe. Okay, fine. I can take the descent for 2-drop. I do need some 2-drops here still. Certainly. I have a couple of them. No, this is not really a 2-drop I'm even going to play. There's the marionette is my only 2-drop. Couple of dead weights for early game. Help too. But this is a good 2-drop, especially in decks that can reliably get the descent for. So yeah, let's take it here. There is a good white card, the 4-drop, but I actually need the 2-drop more than a 4-drop, so let's take the black 2-drop here. Okay, Poison Dart Fog. This basically makes it so that I will be playing green-black. Yeah, there's a white 2-drop, but now that the only white cards I have is the Sanguine Evangelist, and I have some nice green now with the Akavali and the Colossus Dactyl and some other, decent cards. I'm just gonna take the Frog here. It's a very nice 2-drop, I would say. And let's ignore the other color options. Deadweight number 3. Now there are some matchups where this isn't going to be so good, but there's also matchups where this can hit like most of the opponent's creatures. So I'm going to take it here over, the other options. I think the other might just be the hidden Necropolis here. But it's a card I can, sideboard out when the opponent plays more like a big creatures. But yeah, I'm going to maybe start with 3 in the main deck. At least I'm willing to do that. Buried treasure. I mean, at some point it will discover into a spell and helps maybe descent in the meanwhile. I could take the 6-drop, I suppose. It's not really a high priority at all. I don't think I care about the Acolyte in this deck too much. Wayne. Oh, actually, I'm taking this because this helps with the descent. I actually first mixed this with some other cave land, but yeah, this is just a land that gets you another land, and then goes to graveyard, enabling descent things. And here, it's going to be the Skullcap Snail. 2-mana 1/1. They exile a card from their hand. It gets a card and then it's a 1/1 that can, jump block or whatever. These kind of cards usually function quite well in limited. Should maybe cut these things. I want to see how many 3-drops do I need here. Well, I don't need any 3-drops necessarily, but maybe I'm still taking the milling 3-drop rather than something like a Scythe here. Let's take one of these. I think it's fine. Hidden Nursery or the forest cycling thing. Now these land cyclers actually do work very well with descent, with any kind of descent. So I could see taking that, but I also would like to have some caves here. I mean, that can be turned into spells. Yeah, I don't care about the 7-drop that much. And well, I have already one of these. Maybe I'm taking one of the Stompers. I can, not just choose. I can choose to not play it at all. if it feels like it's unnecessary. Alright, let's take the uncommon. There's no really reason to take anything else from there because I'm not gonna play them, and I got a Bristol back here regardless. And here I can take the 2-drop over a 3-drop. I don't think I need 3 drops. But I got the berry treasure too. Who knows, maybe I'll test it. How about here? I don't have enough caves for this thing. I think in order to be happy to run this, you would want to have like at least 5 caves. I guess I have 2, you know, because caves in the graveyard also function. So if I take it here, maybe I can try to focus on getting more of them. But I think I'll just take the capybara. There's also the standard. If I'm gonna play this expensive stuff, maybe I can consider this. It will only add 2 mana even when it's transformed. But okay, I don't know. I think I'll just take the 2-drop. I still think I'm gonna have it, and it's a fine 2-drop. Becomes a 4/3 at some point. Okay, no, this is not. I first thought it's gonna be another copy of the Akavali, but it's actually the rare that brings a non-land permanent back to the battlefield for 3 mana. Now, how big of a thing you're gonna get it depends on how many permanents you have in the graveyard. Oh, but there's also the Stinging Cave Crawler. I think this is a really good card. You can't really go much wrong with this. Now, this can be really good in certain scenarios, but sometimes you can just get like a 3-drop back. I think this is like the more reliable card. If I have Descent 4, great. If I don't, it's still good blocker. And I think I might have some of these expensive things in the deck, so that a good blocker early can, be valuable. There's another one of these. There's also another chance here. Now, there's also the In the Presence of Ages. These are doing very similar things. Both, mill some cards and then can get you 2 cards back. Now, this gets you a land and a creature from among the milled cards, right? Yeah. There's also the snail. Well, it's gonna be one of these 3. I don't know really. I have only 10 seconds. 14 creatures there. Let's try. I'm gonna try the green one. Maybe another chance is slightly better, but I'm gonna try the green one now. Okay, I got the Akavali number 2 after all. I don't think there's really much contention there. No, Akavali number 2 it is. And Bitter Triumph. Oh, alright. Well, I'm taking that. It's like an Infernal Grasp, but you have to pay 1 more life, or sometimes just discard a card and pay no life at all. And the card discarding can, of course, help fuel your Descent things. I don't know if I have actually that many, but now with 2 Akavalis, I'm really interested in getting at least Descent 4. So I'm gonna take these. This is a decent 3-drop in a deck that can Descent quite reliably, but yeah, the removal spell just is the best card here. Visage of Dread. That enters. Okay, they discard an artifact or creature, and then it becomes a 5/4, but it's quite expensive. Is there anything that's like better than that? Craft for 2 creatures, but they can be creatures in your graveyard, so I guess it does, remove my decrease my Descent count. Maybe I'm not taking that. I don't think I like this too much. Okay, I'm gonna take the Capybara number 2. I don't really know if that was the best pick, but I took that, and it's I had to take something. This card, I mean, I guess in best of 3, which this draft is, it actually is something you can consider playing in certain matchups, but I wouldn't ever start this in the main deck. This can just backfire when the opponent actually starts to draw cards out of from your spells. All right, this is good removal spell. Let's take it. And Glowcap Lantern, Spyglass used to be a rare, and now it's an uncommon. Well, anyway, it's limited unplayable basically. Lantern. It's I don't know. Exploring does help with the Descent sometimes. Oh, okay, let's give a chance to the Lantern. I think that the Over the Edge is a fine sideboard card to pick, but I wanna try this Descent, this equipment. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a chance. Alright, how about this Knove thing here right now, and then I got another chance. I think I do have enough 2-drops now. Yeah, I have, so I don't need this random 2-drop, but this helps, you know, get my descent count work. That's nice. Alright, skull cap snail still here. I think I found the correct colors because, you know, there's a lot of playables. And here I'm taking the over the edge for my sideboard rather than have a third copy of these, which I might be cutting. I have to be cutting a lot of cards here, so that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, Spelunking very nice in the cave deck if I ever get to draft that, but here I'm just taking the Skull Taker. And I got the Brawler too, yeah. Talk about finding the correct colors. And I got a playable last pick in the draft. Okay, so here are the cards. I could consider playing the Over the Edge will be a sideboard card. A couple of the lands are now in the sideboard now because I will add the lands as the last thing. Alright, I need to make more than 10 cards in here, so let's see about the mana curve. 20 creatures, well I can cut a bunch of them, but I have to cut a bunch of non-creatures as well. So this is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9 2-drops. I can easily cut both of these brawlers. I think these are the least important ones in this kind of a deck. And I can consider playing the rest of them for now. I'm also willing to cut. I think the Skull's Cap. Why do I say Skull's Cap? Skull Cap Snail is probably the first to be cut out of these. Or do you like the others more? The Poison Dart Frog is probably my best 2-drop, and then I like the Self-Milling a lot, and the Basking Capybara. Yeah, I like that too. Echo of Dusk. Yeah, the descent payoffs I want to have. So yeah, the Skull Cap Snail, one of them, maybe even both, I could consider cutting. How about the other stuff? Bitter Triumph, yeah, no. Disturbed Slumber, that's gonna go away. Buried Treasure, I don't need a descent payoff. Oh, no, descent enabler that much. Now this does two things. I mean, first it just, you know, can ramp you once and then cares about your your descent things care about this. And then later in the game you can turn this into a card with the discover ability. It's quite clumsy though, because discover for any value of course doesn't mean you get that value. You get up to that value. So discover 5 can still hit a 2-drop, and it's quite not so great to pay 5 mana and get a 2-drop. It's not very good for your tempo. So I don't value that so much because this doesn't do anything. At least stuff like a walk with the ancestors, it gets you something for the 5 mana and then you get to discover 4. So for example, if I hit a 2-drop with this thing that I can cast, I still overpay for it a little bit, but it at least is a 2-drop that enters the battlefield, basically is a eternal witness sort of a card. And of course you can get lucky and hit, an actual 4-drop. Imagine getting like the Colossodactyl as the result of any discover effect. That would be nice, but you can't guarantee that. Anyway, Buried Treasure is gonna go away because I need to make so many cuts in here. I like these milling things actually because I have the double Akava and I have the double Capybara. I do have the Echo of Dusk. Anything else that cares about the descent count? Probably not so much. But that's still 5 cards that become significantly better when you hit a descent 4, and of course this also when you hit descent 8. So I think I kind of want to play both in the presence of Aegis and another chance. The Necromage does seem a little bit out of place in here actually, because I don't really have any use for the 1/1s. They can't block. They won't be able to attack that well in this deck. This is like a slower deck. I don't care about having 1/1 attackers. It's not like I'm gonna swarm the board that easily. So I think the Necromage actually is gonna go away. It would have been great in the white-black deck that I was first drafting. Oh, there's also a decent payoff in here. Kind of forgot it. Yeah, this is a really good payoff. Just draws your card. And that cares about descending. It's not a. It doesn't care about the number of permanent cards in your graveyard, but it cares about descending. So that's also nice. And this is gonna fuel all my descent stuff. So I'm going to cut actually the Necromage here. And okay, Jade Seed Stones. You get to distribute some counters. Then you get a 7/7. That does gain you some life. But it's not like I'm gonna play this in the main deck. I'm not. And I don't think I'm gonna play the Walk with the Ancestors in my main deck either. I'll be at least out of these 5 mana sorceries, this is the first one I'm gonna cut. And also note that any sorcery won't actually help my, or instant, won't help my descent count, but for the in the presence of ages and another chance, they do, their effect does help with that. But I actually have a lot of instant and sorceries, considering I'm a deck that really cares about descending. That's 8 of them. That's quite a lot actually. The deadweight is good removal because it also, helps with descent. But I'm not going to cut the Bitter Triumph or the Join the Dead. They are very good. I could see cutting the Huatli's Final Strike actually. And maybe even the Battle Cliff. Oh, it's just such a mana efficient thing, and I have some big creatures that can actually, benefit from this quite a bit. But this is 28 cards. I need to find more cards. Cavern Stomper. I think I'm going to play the Bristol back because it has the forest cycling, so it can help with the descent things. Okay, I'm gonna cut the Stomper from the main deck. How about this Discover 3 thing? So this will discover into any of my 3 mana spells, which I think are all good hits. It's worth paying a 5 mana 5/2 when you get to discover one of these 3 drops. And I suppose most of these 2 drops are fine. I also think I'm gonna cut one Skull Cap Snail. I will sideboard it in if I find like the 1/1 body is relevant somehow, but it might not be. I might even actually cut both of them because I do have 3 deadweights. I was counting the number of 2 mana creatures, which is now 6, which usually is what I consider my lowest, amount I'm willing to play, because I want to be able to, play spells early in the game. That's one of the ways to win games, or one of the ways to lose games if you don't get to play anything until, let's say, turn 3, especially when you are on the draw. But I do have a Bitter Triumph and triple deadweight in here, so I can play fewer creatures, and I guess the Snail is just not what this deck necessarily wants to do. If I had like effects that, there are of course sacrifice effects, but there are also those in white and red, there are those that say that tap some number of untapped artifacts or creatures. The Snail works for that too. But here, this after the opponent has exiled something from their hand, the most this thing does is just, be a 1/1 creature. That's not always going to be useful in all the matchups. So I'm going to cut that from the main deck. And now, that is 7 instants and sorceries. I could see cutting 1 Ray of Ruin. I'm going to cut one of them. And now the decision I'm going to make here is that, is it going to be 16 lands with the Forest Cycler? And I suppose the Frog. Or am I going to cut one more card and play 17 lands with the Forest Cycler? This can help me find lands. I don't think I have any other Explorer here, do I? Yeah, the Lantern is the only thing. But I will want to try it. It's not easy to, evaluate this kind of an equipment, because, yeah, sometimes you get, when you draw lands or get +1/+1 counters, those are usually good effects, but you can't really control it. At least you know which one is it gonna be before you attack, because of the looking ability. But note that the equipped creature has the ability, so you have to actually equip this before you know what is on the top of your deck. Having this on the battlefield is not enough. You have to pay the full 1/2 mana before you get to pick your top card. Anyway, What was the creature curve? 5 2-drops, 5 3-drops, 2 4-drops, 1 5-drops, 1 7-drop slash cycler. Yeah, I think this is fine. Number of creatures is 14, a bit on the low side. I guess I could see whiffing this. I mean, I hopefully won't be. I mean, it's possible I reveal, I have enough instant and sorceries, and I guess artifacts and enchantments too, that it's possible I won't get anything from this, but most of the time I will be hitting at least one of these things, because I have a combined of 16 lands and 14 creatures, so that's 30 things. And of course this is one of the cards in my deck, so there's like 9 other things in the deck that won't allow me to have a card in hand after resolving this. Alright, well, I'm gonna play this. It helps with Descent regardless, and even if it reveals dead weights, at least these things do actually count for the Descent, because the rest of the cards that you don't get to keep go to graveyard. Also the same applies for the Glow Cap Lantern. If I reveal it with this thing, I can't put it to my hand, but it will go to my graveyard and increase my Descent count. Alright. I think I'm gonna play with this. This is like actually a fairly low curve. I have 2 5s and 2 4s, nothing more that costs more than that, and the 7-drop I can cycle. So I don't think it's a issue if I have, let's say, I'm stuck at 3 lands for a while. I can live with that. So I'm not gonna play 17 here. I don't have that much card draw. I guess I have the what's this? Another chance. It's kind of card draw, but yeah, I'm gonna play 16 here. That is fine. By the way, the treasure, I think I started explaining about this card, and then it kind of sidetracked or something. But the point is that you can also just mill this card, and it's free value in that sense. You never have to kind of spend a draw step or a card draw to get this to your hand. You can just mill this when you have a bunch of mill effects. I have not a lot of them, but some of them. And then when you mill this, for free, not only it is a permanent card in your graveyard, but then you can just use the Discover 5 ability whenever you have time to do that, so it can be nice in decks that have a lot of self-mill. Alright, I'm still not playing it in this deck. So this is the main deck. Let's add some lands. What are the others? There's the Wayne. And then I think it's gonna be like an even mix of green and black. It actually could be more black because I have more black cards. I do have a black 3-drop, that's a double caster, and 3 of these deadweights, which I could see having like a turn 3 when I want to play a deadweight and one of these 2 mana black cards, or a turn 4 when I want to play a deadweight and one of these 3 mana black cards, and I have like this is also black card, so having 2 swamps on the battlefield is quite valuable. I do have the Promising Wayne here though, and this only gets me a forest, so that's actually a reason to consider playing like 8 and 6, because now this is 7 green sources. This is not a forest, it's just a cave, but it taps for green, of course. So this is like 7 green sources. The Promising Wayne can get me a green, and also this thing can get me a forest. So that is 9. And then for the swamps, this is, still 9. I mean, I'm almost tempted to consider having even one more swamp, but then again, I do have the Poison Dart Frog, and that can tap for green, and I have this double green here. Yeah, figuring out this mana basis can sometimes be a little tricky, but I think this is the correct mix. I would like to have another black, but I don't want to lose any of these forests, so let's have this as the main deck. Okay, on the play with no swamps. This would be a perfectly keepable hand if one of these was a swamp. I mean, even if it's just a 2-lander, I can at least have the deadweight and the marionette. And then if I draw any 1 land, I can still have these 2 3-drops, but it's just without the black mana, it's not worth keeping. Wow, is this the same hand? This can't get me anything than forests. But I have the in the presence of ages, which hopefully finds me a swamp. I'm gonna keep these, and the least useful out of the one out of these is well, I might need these just to get this thing going on. Ray of Ruin, Screaming Phantom. I think the Screaming Phantom is. I want to have the removal. Let's lose the Phantom here, even though it can help fuel, descent for this thing. But I'm gonna quite likely put this in the graveyard. It's descent 1 already, and then this puts, some permanents on the graveyard, hopefully. Or maybe not, but we will see. Okay, well, I don't really know if I'm. I think it's more important to hit my land drops. I'm not gonna keep the 7 drop here. There's a compass gnome here. The opponent actually mulliganed too. I just was too busy figuring out stuff from my own hand that I didn't really pay attention to it. But I saw that they did mulligan. They have this captivating cave coming up, which is gonna put some counters to their stuff at some point. But yeah, I'm gonna get my forest here just to get the descent stuff going on, and this is an instant, right? Yep. No blue here, so hopefully no counter spells. Although I don't even know if there's like a negate effect in this set. Okay, so let's hope to get a good effect out of this thing. So I don't want to mill my instant speed removal. Equipped creature has vigilance whenever another artifact or creature is put into graveyard from the battlefield. That actually counts mine and theirs. Put a +1/+1 counter on the equipped creature. Okay, that can be problematic. If the game goes longer, they will get some free counters out of it, and it also, gives vigilance, which can be annoying in some race situations. Okay, I'm gonna get a lot of permanents to my graveyard, and importantly, I got the swamp to my hand. Now, this mills too, but this is just a very good card. So, I mean, I will have a descent 3 already, so I do think it's worth it really to get the Akawali instead. Yeah, I think it's better. So these go to my hand. Creature and land into your hand. Yep, these two go. Okay, that is not bad. Am I actually supposed to play the Capybara here? And the Echo of Dusk? I mean, this is just... I'm not gonna trade with this thing. I could just play the single thing too. Let me see. Let's be like mana efficient. I don't necessarily mind if they have like removal on one of these, and in that case, the other one will be enhanced, and of course that also applies to the crawler here and the Akawali. And on the next turn I can play the Ray of Ruin if I need to. Creature, vehicle, or non-basic land. Yeah, this is actually land destruction, so I could exile this thing, but I'm quite sure that won't be the best thing. Okay, a third color. 2/5 gets a... Okay, it becomes a 4/5 with descent 4. Right. Okay, that's not a bad one. But the question is, am I going to... this thing exiles, so it actually won't trigger this thing. Alright. Let's do the mana efficient thing. I'm gonna play this, not use the Ray of Ruin yet. And I kinda don't want to trade with the Compass Gnome, but maybe I still will. Because it will give me Descent 4 and some random card from the Discover trigger. But as long as this is equipped to someone and things die. Okay, what's this? It's gonna kill my Knower, right? And then it becomes an equipment. No, it actually, they chose to kill the Echo of Dusk. Interesting. Well, they don't have a good attack now. Well, no, it's rather easy. I mean, maybe it's easier to... Okay, with the Swamp I actually should play just the Akawali and the Cave Crawler. Yeah, and then next turn get rid of the blocker with the Ray of Ruin. I'm also gonna get the card draw with the crawler here. Okay, this no good attacks, they have a 6 toughness blocker here. Okay, so this now says it has trample. At the Descent 8 it will be a 7/7 trampler and also can't be blocked by more than one creature. Okay, Bentisor is gonna say that they're gonna look at the top 2 cards now because they have 2 caves among their graveyard and battlefield, and they get, so this says okay, look at the top X where X is the cave thing. 2 of those go to their hand. Okay, so they just drew 2 cards there. Fine. Okay. Then I will just exile this thing. That sounds like a good idea. Because I can attack then with everything. That's actually sweet. Deadweight, probably good enough. It can also be used to, just to decrease the size of some big creature. But now I don't care who they're gonna trade with the Bentisor. I'm gonna actually draw a card here too. So this is nice. Block there and probably... Oh, they actually maybe allow me to... Maybe they have a removal for this thing, but if I can draw another card with this, that's gonna be quite sweet. What is my Discover 3 flyer? That's really nice. And no reason to use a deadweight right now. So this, if they craft with an artifact which costs 3 mana, they do have an artifact in the graveyard, so they can just use that. But it's only, and it will attach to a creature, but it's a +2/+0, not a big deal actually. And now if I'm gonna get another attack in here, that's really sweet. This is just a 4/4, as a creature. Now a 6 mana 4/4 that draws you 2 cards isn't gonna need to have anything else necessarily. Okay, they get a flying blocker for the Phantom. And there's a 2 mana ground creature. Okay, so I'm actually going to get another one here. Well, look at that. Deadweight number 2. I have a bunch of options here actually. They can actually get rid of my Descent with these things. I do need to kill it. I might need to use both deadweights on that. Because I can also put a deadweight here. But I'm gonna... This is sport too, but I can pay for that, so let's do that. Now the point is that they will block the Phantom, and then of course I can use the second deadweight and I can pay for that ward to finish it off. Another option, which isn't a bad option at all, is just to kill the crackshot thing here. And then, attack for a bunch so that they can't kill the Akavali. Because now if I attack with this, they will double block the Akavali most likely. Block this Phantom. But I think that is fine. I mean, I still have a long way to go to Descent 8. Although maybe not so with... I can also just not attack with this. That's also a thing. Oh, this is a bunch of options here. This will mill a card. This deadweight goes to my graveyard. I'm actually very close to Descent 8. In fact, I'm so close that I'm not going to attack with the 5/5. But I do want to get rid of the Pilgrim. So I think I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna mill and draw. Doesn't matter in which order I do it. Okay, that didn't add to my Descent actually. Sadactyl is good. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I do like my chances here now. So that is now gonna be a Descent 8. After they didn't have this equipped, so I don't get punished by letting them have any counters. Yeah, this is gonna be Descent 8 because 2 deadweights will go to my graveyard right now. And I will have this as a 7/7, can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. And I still have the Cave Crawler and a very relevant spell here. The 2/2 even with this equipment isn't gonna matter too much. And also they don't have a flyer blocker right now, so this is clocking them. They get a draw 3, discard a card. Well, I mean, it doesn't affect the board here. And this is gonna be a lethal attack. Almost. It's almost actually, because they might of course still be able to play a spell, land and a spell, but this has trample, but they can block it. They take 5, 6, 8 damage here. But of course this would die and they would be at 1. I would have every creature here. I still get to draw a card, so I'm not too worried about the outcome. If they have a spell, it's not gonna cost a lot, and this is a tapped land. So they can also have a, you know, a Wrath effect. Okay, let's just win the game, right? That sounds a good idea, because there's a Wrath effect that can just kill things. This, by the way, it's not a mayhem mill card, it's a must mill, so... Because there are some effects, for example, with another chance, you may mill 2 cards. If you're close to decking out, you don't have to do it, but for this flyer, I need to mill 2. Okay, so, deadweight pulled its weight. Man, I'm so clever. I think I'm gonna play all 3. Also because they can just be used like a decrease of 4/4 into a 2/2, and then I can attack into it or something like that. And it's also removal that adds to my descent count, which is nice. So they're like I don't know, 3 color deck. Is this did they splash for anything in particular? Like this is I guess they might be a white red splashing for blue. Then again, doesn't matter really. They have fixing. They can play whatever the colors they want to. And now the question is something here needed? I don't think I need these 1/1s for 2. They seem to be like a slow deck. Almost, I'm almost tempted to play actually this thing. I think I will have a time to craft with creature at 7 mana, perhaps. And the counters can be nice. I didn't see that much removal from them actually. Did I see any? Like this 2 damage effect like is the only one. Now, of course, the other thing is, I mean, what can I cut here? The flyer might, I still like the flyer, you know, enabling my descent. Yeah, it's, I guess the battle cliff. I could see that not pulling its weight here, and I might actually just try the seed stones. I will be on the draw, but still, I might have time for that anyway. How about this thing? Let's use the seed stones. I will try it. Maybe it will be very good in this matchup. Maybe not, but I wanna try it. Yeah. Ooh. Not the greatest hand, and this doesn't do anything if you don't have creatures on the battlefield, and ideally more than one, so you don't have to put all the eggs in the same basket, but I'm keeping it still. I have a lot of 2s and 3s I can hit, and deadweights too. There's already one. I would much rather, of course, play the Akavali on turn 3 than just this thing. Now I'm fine even if I don't get a play for the next turn. Do they have a play for this turn? Don't seem to have. Plus I actually got my frog. There is a 2-mana counter spell, but it's actually blue-blue to counter creatures. It's actually quite nice take on a counter spell. It's a 4-mana counter spell that counters anything, but if it targets a creature, it costs just blue-blue. Alright, so the frog is not maybe that necessary right on this turn. On turn 4 it can give me this. Oh, then I draw that. Well, it's actually super relevant now. These 2 back-to-back draws were pretty insane, especially if they don't have interaction for these. I just got a turn 3, 4, 5 reach trample. Not that the reach matters too much. They just have this 1/2. They didn't even save it for a trick. Unless they have a thing that can deal with the 2/5 but couldn't deal with the 4/5, but I don't think there's anything for, at least not for white-red. Yeah, I had a pretty good turn here. I'm tempted to play main phase, I mean pre-combat Nover, because there's like a chance that they actually do something in the combat that kills the frog. And then I don't have that good of a follow-up. But I guess I can just play the Akavali. But I want to, you know, I want to present a trick here. So I'm gonna just attack with this with open mana. I don't have any. I have the in the presence of ages, which isn't really a trick. But I don't want to tap out and then let them do stuff really. Okay, I put that on top or bottom. Well, I can put that on top. It's a very fine draw on the next turn. Although if they kill the Nova, I actually won't get this thing. I mean, I can't double spell in the presence of it. Fine. If you kill the Nova, then I at least get to, you know, discover 3. Kinda hope they don't kill it. But this is the best use of my mana. Alright, and they did it. So, oh, I can attack for 5 here. Look at that. Didn't expect that to happen. I mean, if I trade with the Pilgrim, that's great. But this can't even trade with the Nova here. So that's just the 25% of their life total gone. Just like that. Alright, let's do it. I mean, it's better if they block, but I don't expect them to block here. Now, with 6 mana, I can actually double spell here. So I'm gonna play the Akavali. It's not like the 4-5 is that great against this, but of course I know I can make it into a 5-6, but I'd rather just double spell now. It's efficient use of mana, because I can do this end of that turn. I can also use the seed stones to, you know, make this into a 5-5 or something like that. Craft with a creature, or craft with creature, which, you know, I guess means that it can be a creature on the battlefield or a creature card in the graveyard. Ooh, 1000 Moon Smithy, that's a good one. Maybe my face is blocking that, but when this enters the battlefield, they create a Gnome Soldier artifact creature token which has power and toughness equal to the number of creatures and artifacts they have. So, and of course artifact creatures only count once. And then this can be turned into the Barracks of the 1000, which, you know, basically produces more of these guys, but it will require them tapping at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase. You may tap 5 untapped artifacts and or creatures to transform this thing. It's not that easy, because they will be completely tapped out almost. Now they can still use mana to do stuff. Now I don't have to take a land if I feel like... oh, so sad. Bitter Triumph and Join the Dead both go to graveyard. I can't keep them, they don't add to my descent count. That was unlucky. But do I need the land? I'm gonna take the creature here. So if I have... because the land in the graveyard actually helps my descent, that's the point here. Oof. So with 6 mana I can play the Colossus Dactyl and the 2-drop. I don't actually need 7 mana here. However I do it, I don't need 7 mana, so I'm gonna only take this creature here. At least get 1 descent, but yeah, that was a shame. That was really a shame that 2 of these good instants that I would much rather have in my hand went there. Now, time to mill 2, although milling 2, I still not... this is not gonna become a 5-5 even with that. Okay then. Because I can give counter to the Akavali and then trade here with the 4-4. I guess I would give 2 so they can just block with the Pilgrim. So if I make this into a 5-5, they double block with the 4-4 and the 1-2. I guess that's fine, because then I can kill them both. I can, you know, this will become smaller when they lose creatures. I would deal 2 to here and then the 3 here, and this will die, and this will be a 3-3 and die. Oh, they can double block with the Pilgrim, and I think it's time to use the Seed Stones right now. I can post-combat play the Marionette or the Capybara, depending on what they do. I will distribute 3 counters however I want to, and I guess I want to put 2 to the Akavali. I guess 1 here. It's fine. And then I will just see what happens. Also, as long as they do have the Hoverstone Pilgrim on the battlefield, you know, my descent things won't be that reliable, because they can just pay 2 mana to put stuff back to my library. So I don't actually mind losing the Akavali here right now. Okay, so now it will happen like I said, so I will this would be wrong, because then I would assign 4 here and 1 here, and this wrestler wouldn't die. But now I will assign 2 here and 3 here, and this is gonna update constantly based on the number of stuff they have. So 2 here and 3 here will actually be enough to kill them both. And they are now quite far away from doing this thing. I should have the Death Toucher here. I mean, I'm not gonna assume that the Capybara is even gonna be a 4-3 now that they have the Pilgrim here. Mill 2, which are they gonna be? Yes, I will take action here. Couple of things. Okay, now I do have a Descent 4 here, but like I said, doesn't matter with the Pilgrim. But what I can do is pay 7 mana to make this into a 7/7. But I of course do need 1 more land to do that. But they are very far away from tapping 5 untapped artifacts and creatures, so this is not gonna transform anytime soon. At least I hope so. That's a 6/5. I mean, this Nover has done some work here. It has done some work. I got the land, so I can craft here. This has Death Touch, so this actually has 2, but I need the mana, and I have to pay 2 to make it the Death Toucher, so I'll just rather have the 7/7. The 4/5 isn't even gonna battle with the Monstrous Sword here. It's rather easy attack here, actually. I know, they either trade with the Monstrous Sword, which I think they had to do at this point. Fine, yeah, the Gnover did a lot of damage, and also they have this only, not gonna do anything. Oh, they actually trade with the Death Toucher too. What? That was so great for me. And I got the Crawler here. This is amazing. I just hope they don't have a Wrath effect suddenly. But craft this as a... how do I do this? Craft this sorcery speed activation, so I have to do it on my own turn. Here, yeah, I don't think it matters too much. I have a spell that can return 2 of these, but I guess the Marionette is the least important one, so let's have... I don't care about the life gain, because this of course gains you life based on the mana value of the exiled card, so I got only 2, but I didn't really need any more than that. So I basically win the game if they don't have a Wrath effect. I will... or they have like a very sick, you know, rare or something. They can get an artifact back from the graveyard. Sure. Okay, that's actually decent with the Death Toucher. That's no joke. So I guess I'm not gonna... I still will draw the card with it, but... yeah, I don't know. Because they have mana to cast a blue spell, because this can... with the mountain they can actually add blue. So if I attack with the crawler, they will block with the 4/4 and eat it for free, because this will be -2/-0. Okay. I don't want to attack with this, because I'd rather play these both things. So guess I'm not gonna attack with the crawler then yet. They either have to make a decision about using this thing right now, or just leaving it in their hand. Yeah, they did that. They don't have a good double block here. They don't have a good single block either. Now this doesn't have trample or anything, so they can jump it, but I mean, I don't care if they jump it. I'm totally favored to win here, especially after playing these 2 things here. Yeah. No need to play the swamp, let's keep them guessing that I might have something. Now, it's still gonna require like a Wrath effect from them. I don't know if there's like a Bomb Rare or anything that works. This is almost... okay, but I think this is now lethal, especially after this dead weight here. I don't think they have enough blockers. Maybe should have played the... I might have some expensive instant here, but I don't, so it doesn't matter. But I should have actually played the land pre-combat now, because I was about to draw a card. So this is gonna be a lethal attack. Alright, match number 1 is done now. I'm on the draw this time. This kind of cycle into forest. I have a 2-drop, 3-drop. This cliff can do something. Easy keep with both swamp and a forest here. Blue and black, okay. Okay, explore 1 over 2 mana 1, 2. Always gonna be a good 2-drop, because if you get an extra land out of a 2-drop is nice. Or if you get a 2 mana 2 3, it has a fairly decent you know, effect on the board so early in the game. Alright, so now I have a decision here. I could just play the 1/3, but this is now just a 1 power creature. I don't need to care about its attacks. I'd rather make sure I will in fact get the 3rd land on the next turn. And yeah, that's why I'm gonna choose the forest cycle here instead. Because then on the next turn I can play either the Akavali or maybe even consider the presence of Aegis. Now this is a good one. They get a map token, and that's the token that is gonna, you know, can be used to make a target creature explore once. 1 mana, sack this, target creature you control explores. As a sorcery. So actually with this, I should actually play the Capybara and kill the scout here. Because the Malamet battle clip says that creatures fight, but if your creature enters the battlefield this turn, it gets a +1/+1 before, you know, fighting. So this is just good now, and this might become, you know, a 5/4 now at some point. But I don't have to be looking at a potential 3/3 flyer if they explored into that and got a counter, and I don't want to do that. Even though I do have the Bitter Triumph here, I'd rather deploy my own creatures on the battlefield. Okay, they make that thing explode, which is barely gonna matter here. Okay, join the dead. They don't have the 2nd black. Well, they might just play a swamp here. Okay, they actually chose to, you know, mill this away, so they certainly don't have another black source. Oh, that's a free attack. I don't know what are the punishing effects in this set. I'm gonna just block here because I wanna learn. If they use a card to get rid of this, it's fine. Like a dead weight here, it's, you know, totally fine. Yep. That does increase my, you know, my descent for the Akavali. Now they could have the blue-blue counterspell, because when it targets creatures, it will in fact work against creatures, but I think this is still the best play I have. I don't want to main phase this thing. I want to add to the board, so let's hope they don't have that, and they did not. I'm not sure how good of a card that is. I guess in a deck that has easy access to blue-blue, it's kinda okay, because it's a 4 mana cancel and a 2 mana, you know, it's an actual essence scatter when the mana isn't an issue. Alright, I think this thing is gonna die to the Triumph. I don't seem to be getting lands, but this has dead touch, so I guess I can just attack into it and let the trade happen and play the Skull Taker, and this Menace guy will break a counter right away. Okay, fine, that's okay. They might not block here even. Because I will have to use the Bitter Triumph or something good on this thing anyway, so I'm happy to just make this trade happen, and now I have descended, which means this is gonna pick up a counter right away. It's a 3/3 Menace. Efficient use of mana as well. If I ever gonna draw a 4th land that's entering untapped, I have 1 cave in the deck that will enter tapped, but then I can just double spell, you know, the Marionette and the Frog, but I guess that's not to happen. Well, I'm going to just attack and see if this attack goes through. It has Menace, so they can't block with that one guy. Okay, so now I should do this in main phase for a couple of reasons. First of all, just if I pick a land, I can play the land on this turn. But another one is that if I, you know, mill permanents, I will get another counter on the Skull Taker. I could have just played the Marionette also, but I actually do want to play the 3 mana spell now rather than a 2 mana spell, because I'm of course having some trouble with land drops. Okay, are they gonna consider countering that? Alright, I need another swamp. And I will have the creature too. So I lost my another chance, it's fine. I am gonna take the flyer for sure. And that was one permanent still going to graveyard, which means this is gonna be a 4/4. I quite like the Skull Taker, but I suppose they have some kind of interaction. No, just another chance of their own. Now they're probably gonna get back the crawler here. I guess they could take the scout too. I mean, they get both, of course. Yeah, it picks 2 cards. Yeah, they got the 2 best cards, but I have the removal for the crawler. That is nice. They might even go for the double block and I get some value because this is an instant, but let's, scratch that. They had another one of those double black spells and they found the swamp, finally. Okay, well, I guess I could use the marionette and the frog here right now to have more mana on the next turn, but I think this Colossal Dactyl is just gonna be pretty good. It can also block the scout. Hopefully they don't have more removal. I guess we'll see. That's gonna explore. They're gonna have a Blood Rage Mycoid. So it's a 4 mana 4/3. They kept it on top, and at the end step it's gonna make one of those 1 mana can't block things. All right, so they actually chose not to play the crawler when they have 6 mana up. So I don't want to attack. I mean, if they were tapped out or something, it would be a good attack. They double block, and then of course the Triumph takes care of it. But into open mana, I'm not gonna do that. So let's. They know about the Phantom, so I think I should play the Phantom first. Let's see what they do about this, or if they do anything. Now this is really not so good when they have a 3/3 flyer, but at least it means that if they ever gonna attack with this, I can attack with my own flyer. And then I'm just supposed to, play the frog, get some more mana. If they counter it, it doesn't matter. I mean, this has reach and it can get death touch, so it's actually gonna be able to trade with the Waterwind Scout too. No attacks. If I have the mana to give it death touch, of course. Now it can block and then Fanatical Offering. Alright, okay. Draw 2 cards. They're sacking their own scout. Fine. I have 2 removal spells of my own here. But yeah, what you can do is when this is on the defense, you can block and then, pay the 2 so that... okay, I'm gonna have to exile a card soon. No, they didn't want to keep it. Yeah, you can block and then tap it to get one of the 2 mana required for the death touch. Assuming it doesn't have summoning sickness. There's a Mycoid and they actually will trigger this thing, but I don't care about the 1/1 can't block guy. They're gonna explore again. They got a land. They have no attacks. I have a 4/3. I want to save one of my removal spells on the crawler, perhaps. I have 6 mana available. I could play the 5/2. They're gonna get the scout. Now, I am tempted to attack with the Colossal Dactyl. If they might triple block there, that's the problem. They might triple block, and that would be the the smart thing to do. Then even if I use the Bitter Triumph, I wouldn't actually be able to kill more than 1. That's a shame. And I'm gonna assume they will triple block. That's the smart thing to do. Guess I'll just play my Capybara and Nover then. No, this costs too much. I can't do that. Alright. Well, guess it's gonna be the Marionette and the Capybara then. I don't have to mill here, but I have 19 cards. I'm gonna do that. That's fine. Mill 2 lands. One of them was a cave, but still. Okay. Let's wait. I can actually have mana up for the Bitter Triumph still. Excuse me. Okay, that's that. I think I'll just kill it end of my turn. End of their turn. If they have a counter spell, I can still try to Ray of Ruin it. If I really want to. I can pay 3 life, no big deal. Okay, that's dead. Seems like they didn't even have an instant response. Oh, I got to join the dead here. Now that is also quite nice. I could just kill this outright. Then again, why not use... I mean, I have a -4, -10, -10 here, so I think I should play the... Because I don't have mana to play the Join the Dead and the Knower here. I should play a 5 mana spell this turn. And I actually do think it's tempting just to get rid of the Scout here. I have to mill, but it's no big deal. I get to Scry first, though. Well, then I don't attack with the Phantom if it's something I want to draw. That's fine, I guess. Okay. Let's clear the way for this flyer. I can leave that so now I can attack and mill that swamp. No big deal. Attacking, still not with the Colossus Tackle, they can double block and I can only trade with the Mycoid. No reason to do that, but I can attack with the 4-3 and the Death Toucher. Okay, that is a acceptable trade for me. I have 2 decent cards in here. I mean, this is really good. This kills anything. Alright, so this says, at the beginning of each player's end step, if an artifact enters the battlefield under their control, they get one of the top 2 cards from their deck. Now, Deadweight will be useful here. Yep. I could attack with the Colossus Tactile, they double block, and then I can punish them with the Join the Dead. But they have still 2 cards I don't know about. And they didn't do the, you know, the Discover 4 here. They had the mana for it. So I'm gonna assume they have something. That means it's safer just to... It is safer just to do like this, I think. If I attack with this and they block, I have to use 2 mana. I suppose I can still do that. No, but I need 6 mana if they don't block. Yeah, because I want to play Deadweight. I assume this is gonna block the Capybara, that's the point. Yeah, I need the 6 mana. Mill something, I have to do it. Deadweight, sure. So now I can do the Deadweight in here. If they have a counter spell, which do I want them to counter? I actually think... Oh, I actually think they can... Okay, counter the Deadweight instead, but yeah, they didn't. I can do this. Okay, what is... Oh, artifact. Oh, they had this thing. What they did get out of... but they got another counterspell. Now, with Discover is not, you know, it's not a cascade, so you don't have to cast the spell. If you don't cast, you get to keep it. But now that I know they have a counterspell, that's gonna make it easier for me to, you know... Oh, they have the Visage of... Oh, that's annoying. Oh, but no, it's only artifact or creature. So, okay, they know about the Join the Dead, but if they don't have the 4th land, untapped land, they can't actually use the counterspell. And I can kill the Mycoid thing. This will craft with 2 creatures becomes a... Okay, they have a counterspell. Oh, but they had actually... Okay, this is gonna become a 3-3, but... Okay, so this is gonna become a 5-4. No big deal. So absolutely just... I don't have 7 mana, not quite, so I can't kill them both, but here of course. I can play one of these, but I can attack with the frog too. These things can't, you know, block. Yeah, let's attack with everything. It doesn't really matter if I'm gonna use the Join the Dead pre-combat or not. I mean, if they... guess if they block the frog and the capybara, then I can't play the spider because I have to... Nah, fine. I don't think they're gonna do that. But they are. Actually, this was kind of bad for me. I mean, I can still have the option to play the Join the Dead on the Skull Taker and have this thing survive. Because if I now activate this and give it Death Touch, I don't have the mana. I can actually save the Capybara too, so maybe I'm supposed to make this trade happen, kill the Mycoid instead. They will still take 6 and be very low. Yeah, they're gonna get the 5-4, but it's gonna be fine with the 4-3 I have. That's what I'm gonna do. So let's save this guy after all. Let's give this guy Death Touch. I could have done this pre-combat. So I mean kill one of them, then they trade with the Capybara, but I guess this way I still have the Capybara, which is a lethal attacker by itself, which the Poison Dart Frog wouldn't have been, because they would have been at 2 life now. Yeah, this is fine. Well, they don't have the 4th. They were supposed to leave actually an island untapped. Oh, they made a huge mistake. Well, I don't know how huge it is. They're gonna die here anyway. Yep. I mean, but they were supposed to tap mana so that they had a blue up for this thing, but it doesn't matter, of course, because they were dead anyway. I have a decent 16 at the end of the game. Nice. Alright, so blue-black has a lot of removal. Join the Dead, 2 copies, dead weight. They have this thing, can't really help with that. I need to be aware of if they have 5 mana open. Now they have also other counter spells. They have the, what's it called? Well, I mean, it's in their hand actually. Yeah, in their hand they had the 4 mana / 2 mana counter spell. Oh, come on, what am I doing here? So yeah, these only counters artifacts or creatures. So when they have 5 mana open, let's try to play other spells than artifacts or creatures. That's that. This is a problem, but I have a bunch of removal maybe to deal with it. They have a fanatical offering. As a response to my removal, I have to try to maybe play so that they can't do that. Okay. This wouldn't be bad. Actually, it's not so bad with my one power Death Thatchers. The Death Thatchers are of course great with the bite spells. The Mineshaft Spider. I think the Mill 2 card alone is worth it. It's a fairly decent stat body as well. Is there something that's just bad in here? I mean, they had a way to have a good blocker on this. I think the Phantom can go away. And what's not gonna go away? I mean, what's gonna come back to the... I think I will play the rest of the stuff. Maybe the Battle Cliff is not so important. I still want to try this Lantern. Okay, I'm gonna actually play the instant speed removal. That's gonna be better with the counter spells around. I don't know if I want to play anything else here. I guess the Battle Cliff is still mana efficient enough to play it. Okay, I'm gonna just have this. I'm gonna play one of the 5 mana sorcery removal spells. Not more than that. At least I won the game one, so if I lose this I can still adjust my sideboard choices. Okay, that's a good one. They did mulligan, but I have a very nice hand with the 2 lands and 2 2-drops, one of which actually adds mana. They might have a dead weight for it, of course, but if I draw like 1 more land, then I can play the Akavali and the Cave Crawler here, and I guess also the strike thing. They don't have blue, so they can't counter this. They have to have a dead weight to kill this. Could be the bounce spell, I guess. Lodestone Needle, what does it say? Tap up to 1 target artifact or creature and put 2 stun counters on it. Okay, and then they can craft with an artifact for 3 mana, and then they get 1 explore every turn. That's that could be problematic. But they actually chose to sack it for that thing because they, I suppose, needed land drop or something. Anyway, I can't get mana from this thing anytime soon. I didn't. If I just drew a land here, that would be totally fine. I will play this thing. Hopefully, I don't need like 2 lands. I milled 2 lands. I mean, of course, it's good for these desert things, but I wanted to draw a land. I guess there can be a third here still. Or maybe they explore into a land, so actually the deadweight will kill the scout. If it's a 3-3, that won't happen. And that is a 3-3 now. Sure. Okay, but I got a land. I can of course kill this with the final strike thing, but I feel like it's not as necessary. I will attack with my Death Toucher. I have the Spider. I mean, they can make this into a 4-4, but that's, I mean, in the potential of 4-4, but I still can kill it with the final strike. I'll just have my I have my 3-3 instead of the 1-3 because this is not gonna descend quite yet. I guess, yeah, it's not that likely to happen. Okay, they have that thing. So now they know that if they keep this on top, they will get another +1/+1 counter if they want to. Probably they do because they have enough lands. Okay, they did not tap out yet, so that means they have the -5/-5. Yeah, it makes the battle cliff a little bad now. What tricks did I see there? Because I have an attack I can do with the marionette. Do they have the -2/-0? They don't have a counter spell because they don't have blue up. I think I'll just play the spider this turn. Well, in that case, I should do it pre-combat because then I might mill enough to make this. Yeah, if they were tapped out, it would be nice to play something and then you follow up with the cliff, but I can't do it now. Let's play the 4-drop. They do have something for sure. I guess it's the -5/-5. I saw 2 of them in game 1. Land and a non-land, so it's not enough to make this into a 5/5, but I guess it's okay. It can still attack into the scout. Yeah, are they gonna kill the spider now? Because I think it's the -5/-5. Yeah, they're gonna go for racing. They can attack for 5 if they so choose. This is of course now a bigger one. I saw more removal from them though. This 2/2 isn't gonna be too relevant actually. I don't care about that. And I have some nice stuff here myself. Now if they're gonna be left with 1 mana, this could draw a land though. It didn't. Okay, the crawler, I'm gonna deal with that. Okay, they have 2 mana. So, okay, I have this land, I'm gonna just play it. So I can kill a bunch of things. Well, I... It's not quite optimal because the battle cliff isn't so great with the Death Toucher. I can keep it -2/-2, but it can still draw cards when it attacks. I can just kill the 4/4 with the final strike and then still play like a... I guess I don't need the +1/+1 counter here. Maybe I just should do it like that. I can kill this. Okay. That's what I am going to do. I'm gonna attack with these guys. I don't need the counter. I don't need to be that greedy. The point is, I can do this. They fight. And then I can play my crawler. I know I could have attacked with the frog, but I didn't want them. Didn't want to risk them actually blocking with this and me having to activate this. But now that, okay, you know what? This is actually the best thing to do here now. And then I can still have the Huatli's final strike to deal with this guy. Okay, they actually milled the second Join the Dead. Yeah, I think this is pretty much game over now, because I can also attack with my crawler, which is gonna draw me a card. I can kill the Death Toucher, or maybe they will pick something else, but they have only 3 mana left. I think the Death Toucher is the best thing they're gonna play this turn. Yeah, these Scouts and the Phantoms, they are not gonna be able to do anything right now. Yep, so I will kill that thing, and they have the 2-3, which is actually not even going to, you know, be very good here. Death Toucher. Well, it can be anything, but let's use the Death Toucher because it's more fun. I guess it was supposed to be this because, fine, whatever, it's still gonna be it's actually a lethal attack. I'm gonna force them to block. Yeah. And with the cards in their hand, they're not gonna be able to do anything. This is also close to being, you know, Descent 8, because, you know, here they would have to basically block one of the Death Touchers. So I think it's the 2-1, which is the reason I made a mistake targeting these. I actually just forgot that this also gives +1/+0. I was supposed to give it to the Trampler, because they weren't gonna block the Trampler. So anyway, they would block a Death Toucher, and then I would have one additional permanent card in my graveyard for Descent 6, and then on the next turn I could play the Promising Vein. Descent 7, that's very close to 8 already. Anyway, that was it. On the play with the Frog, I'm keeping this. If it gets killed and I don't draw a swamp, it will be problematic, but maybe it doesn't get killed and maybe I can do stuff. Also, this is the first chance now to maybe do something with the Lantern. And I guess I can still draw 2 forests even if I know, don't have a swamp and the Frog gets killed. Okay, that's one already. So that's actually next turn Colossal Dactyl if this survives, and they don't have another blue source, which they do, so they have a potential counterspell. So, you know, it's such a good curve having the Colossal Dactyl now and then this Nover on the next turn. But because they might actually have the counterspell and this equip cost is 2, I'd rather them counter the Marionette. Also, I can get one of my black spells now. But if they don't counter this, then I can equip this thing and, you know, get to do the Explorer thing. Mill for sure, Swamp and a whatever. Now I also get to see what's my top card if it's relevant. Another black card. Okay, so whatever it's gonna be, I'm gonna attack, get to explore. If they kill this Marionette, I don't care because the Poison Dart Frog is much more important card to have around now. So if they have removal, they should definitely deal with that. Okay, so Echo of Dusk, which I'm gonna actually mill here. So I'm gonna explore now. No reason to do anything right now. I get to attack. And this I won't really be needing. I'm just gonna... Okay, there's gonna be that kind of a guy. I don't think I care about it. So they clearly have a counterspell. It's almost surely gonna be what they have. I think I should play my black things. But I'm not gonna play the 5-drop or this. I think I'm gonna play this thing because it costs more mana. And this is actually gonna be a slightly better card. Yeah, they had out of air, but now that they had to keep up mana for those things, I'm having the board advantage in here. Okay, they draw 2 and discard a card because they weren't able to attack this turn because they kept mana up for a counter spell. They have a Zodic Cliff. This is a nice one for sure. Okay. Now I get to do the Explorer thing again. Okay, so I'm already liking this Lantern, but it's mostly because the opponent doesn't have any blockers, so I have good attacks. Good attacks in here. So let's just do this. I know I could cycle first, but I'm not even sure if I'm gonna cycle. I'm actually quite close to having, you know, the 7 mana here. It's gonna be a 5/5 and a 3/3. Now, I'm assuming they have a counter spell. still don't have black mana. Now both of these are good. That's the thing. Also have a 3/3 Death Toucher now thanks to the glow cap lantern. I do actually think that if they have a counterspell, I'd rather them counter the Colossus Dactyl. Okay, they're really going deep with the out of airs. But this is fine. I'm getting value of this lantern slightly. Okay, they exile that thing, but I can just move away that. I'm gonna get a dead weight that's not that useful right now. But at least I got this now. And I can equip this guy. So if they can't deal with it, I'm gonna draw more cards. Still, I mean, I have milled a swamp, I think, but almost halfway through the deck and no swamp on the battlefield. But the Poison Dart Frog has allowed me to cast a bunch of black spells. Okay, another one of those. There's also a third color here. Staunch Crewmate, yeah, that's... What's this thing? That's a rare. Flying Ward 2. Well, I can kill it because I can pay for the ward cost with the death weight. Now, this thing says, exile another target creature or artifact you control, and then at the end of the next end step, it returns. Okay. Now, I'm gonna get this into a 2/4, so they don't have a good block here. I can stack the trigger so that I get the +1/+1 counter, and then I will draw the... Whenever this attacks, and this is whenever attacks, yeah, I can first keep the counter and then draw the dead weight. Now they know about the dead weight, so I'm actually choosing this. I'm gonna kill it right away. And now they still don't have a good double block thanks to my glow cap lantern doing things. Now just don't mistake with this. So first explore, yes, and then draw a card. And I will actually draw the second dead weight, although it's maybe... Okay, well, finally I'm gonna get a swamp, so I suppose it's fine now. I mean, even if the frog dies, I will get to cast my black spells. I think the dead weight is just gonna be good enough here. And I'm not gonna cycle this, I'm gonna have my 5th land. And with the frog, I'm only 1 land away from actually getting to cast this 7-drop. Okay, so they didn't hit a pirate or an artifact, because when this enters from top 4 cards, you can pick a pirate or a artifact. They had neither of those. So now that I have another swamp coming, I will get to draw it, by the way. So this won't be getting a counter unless I stack the draws so that I might be able to. Well, anyway, I think this death weight is just good enough here. Let's do that. And then how do I want to stack things? Do I want to draw? I'm gonna draw it from the Explorer anyway. I think the swamp is good enough. I could, you know... I mean, I can draw it and then... I think I'm gonna draw that. I mean, I could have gotten potentially a counter, but I got an additional draw instead. I think it makes sense. Okay, now this is... Let's see if they still have a counter spell. No, they did not. Alright, so I think they again need like a rat effect. This is very close to being a 7/7 Trampler. So okay, what do they discover? Of course I have also a removal spell. They got a this landmark thing. What's that? When it enters, scry 2. And then it can got 3 mana to craft. Becomes a 1/4, you know, not gonna matter at all. Yeah, not gonna matter at all. Yeah, so... Yeah, I think the game is pretty much over, except if they can cast a Wrath in this game still. Yeah, the Stinging Cave Crawler. and the Akawali both are good cards, but I mean that's not really that hard to determine. Here I will be. I mean I can of course just explore this thing to the graveyard, so this will become a 7/7. So let's do that. Then I can post combat cast the Bristleback, I suppose. First explore, and this goes away. Now I have a Descent 8, and this is well, let's see how they block here, because the thing is, I probably should play around a rat, of which I don't know if they have it, but how am I going to lose here? They're gonna take a bunch of damage already, and they can't kill either of these guys. They jump block there, that's fine, because I have now the mana to cast this, but I'm gonna play around the Wrath effect. If they have like a big creature, I can exile it. It is safer to play around the Wrath effect, which also means that I maybe was supposed to attack with the frog as well. Well, I didn't. But I'm basically gonna win the game unless they have something amazing. And making this 1/4 is not amazing. They have to craft with an artifact, I guess they don't even have an artifact in the graveyard, so they can't craft with this thing at all. Wow. Well, they can with that thing. Tinker's Toad is, you know, decent, but definitely not gonna help them too much. It might give them a turn. They're gonna get 3 life. They have one card I don't know about. Ah, they have a Lodestone Needle here. Sure. So they're gonna stun one of my guys. Okay, I guess now it's time to just cast the Bristleback, because now if they actually have a rat, they have to also top deck it. I mean, they have to have it in their deck, which they probably don't, and then they have to top deck it. And I have this another chance, which will be allowing me to refill. So here it is, so that this is. I mean, if I can't attack, because if I use 2 mana here, well, I suppose they just. No, I'm not gonna attack with that. It feels like it's unnecessary. Yeah. So let's get the. I mean, this doesn't have Trample or anything. Well, I'm gonna still explore this on the. There, and then draw it. And then they're gonna jump block with the 1/1, and I'm gonna play this 5/5 and a 3/3. They go to 7 there. Yeah, this won't be untapping anytime soon, so just do this and yeah, I guess the Tinker's Toad did give them some time. Now they're gonna have this Explorer. Yeah, this is a craft with artifact, but so is this, and they have only 1 artifact. They have another on the battlefield, but losing the 1/1 creature might be quite bad, because it's a good jump blocker on the 5/5. So they choose to. Okay, Calamitous. How many caves do they have in the graveyard? 1. That's not gonna do anything. I mean, this is. You need a lot of caves to make this into a good Wrath effect. It's not gonna do much here at all. That's of course why they milled it. So they can craft with an artifact, losing the 1/1 there. They basically upgraded that here, but now I'm just gonna win. Well, I can win with many ways, but let's see. If I kill one of these guys, that's enough. Let's just do it. I'm gonna scry this away. I don't wanna show them that I have it, because I have to actually show it with the Explorer now. Well, whatever. They're gonna know about the dead weight. Maybe not if I. Well, they can know about the dead weight, and they didn't even want to see what I explore here. Fine. I mean, I guess they were supposed to get the information, but I showed them 1 dead weight already. Actually, 2 of them. The information wouldn't have been that valuable. Alright, so I don't know why they're playing the cave rat effect with. I mean, I saw only one cave, and they were still. I mean, they had less than 20 cards in their deck. So unless they have like 7 caves in the bottom half of the deck, I'm not sure if this is a good idea to play. Is it only the? It's the only red card I saw here. They must have something good red, other than that. Okay, so blue-white. I have the artifact removal here. Do I want to have it? Destroy. I mean, it's also, by the way, enchantment removal, not just artifact. As a backup, you can just explore twice, which can be nice. I mean, there can be some annoying artifacts. For example, if they do get this early, getting the explore every turn can be annoying, really. Maybe you want to kill this thing. So if I do sideboard in the over the edge, what do I not keep in the deck? I don't think I care about anything else in here. I don't need another Ray of Ruin. But I don't mind having one of them. The spider is good because it mills too. It's important here. Screaming Phantom, is that gonna be a card? That's not so. I guess they might have their own flyers and then make them explode or something. I think the stinging, not stinging. This stinging thing is really good, but the Screaming Phantom is probably the least important card here. I like to have these just to, you know, have some 2-drops. I'm gonna have the Cliff here too. Alright, the Phantom goes away. Against decks that don't have any flyers, like red-green, it's different because it's a good evasive creature, but against blue, they can have their own blockers. Oh well, you know, green has also some reach creatures. For example, my deck has 2 reach creatures. Red has a common too, but yeah, fine. This is not a good hand. I'm gonna mulligan this. I mean, even if there was a forest, well, I would keep it in that case because I have a 2-drop, 4-drop, 5-drop. If one of these was a forest, but since there's no forest, I'm not gonna do that. And of course, I get rewarded with this hand. This is gonna get me a forest, and only if I draw another land. But if I draw one land, if it's just a forest, I can play the Capybara and explore twice. I think it's better to keep this, hoping to draw one land, than go to 5. And out of these options, I think I keep the over the edge here. The Echo of Dusk. Nah, I don't care about that. This is the 1/4 thing. Get to scry 2/1 on top. Come on, land. Okay, that is, you know, much better than not drawing any land. Okay, so the Capybara. Okay, I'm actually going to do the forest cycling now. Because next turn I have the option to play the Capybara into Battle Cliff. Or I can just do the in the presence of ages and try to find a swamp for this thing. Yeah, I think this is better now. Okay, this has ward 2, so sadly it's not gonna work with the thing I have. I don't have the mana for it. So, yeah, it would be sweet if they had like a 2/2 that doesn't have ward 2. But since I can't kill this now, gonna have the in the presence of ages instead. And they have this creature land, 3 mana, 2/3 flyer. Attacks into a map token. Now, this is a sweet one. An evasive creature with an attack ability. Attack trigger, I mean. That's quite nice trigger too. Okay. Tinker's Toad. Yep. That's gonna start looking bad for me. Let's see what I get here. Swamp. Skull Taker, sure. Alright, still I don't have, sadly, the mana for Capybara into killing this guy. I would need 1 extra mana, but I have this spider and I guess I will have Descent 4 now, most likely. Yep, that's that. And what else do we have here? Echo of Dusk. Yeah, this went to bottom of my deck when I mulliganed the 6, but I shuffled my deck with this thing, so that's why it is available again. Now they find another of these crewmates. Oh, they're going off. Well, I have a reach creature, so they can't attack. They did not play this. Darn. That means they're gonna have like the counter spell. So which creature do I want to get countered here? I mean, if they counter a permanent spell, it's a permanent card that is gonna go to my graveyard. So I'd rather do this Capybara, have it countered, and then this will pick up a counter. Oh, they actually chose not to do that. Well, I mean, there was a reason they didn't play the crewmate number 2 here. Well, I'm gonna make them use the counter spell. They did not. No reason to attack into that board, especially when I'm tapped out. Oh, this is not a sorcery speed activation. Sorry. That is not a sorcery speed activation. So they're gonna go off with the Tinker's Toad here. Yeah, that's bad. That is really bad. I need to deal with the Echo. This is another. It can't exile itself. Yeah, that's good. So as long as they don't have a counter spell, this is at least this whiffed. They didn't get anything from this. So the one crewmate got another one. Okay, okay, interesting. They don't want to do more of this stuff. Wow, they'd rather have the 1/4. I'm not sure that's the correct way to... I mean, also they're completely tapped out here. What the heck? This is amazing. Anyway, this requires 2 extra mana. Well, I do have it now. I can even get an extra counter on this thing if I want to. And why wouldn't I want to? It's better than not having a counter on anyone. Yep, it's Ward 2. Here and here, yes. Do this. I even have the over the edge on this Levitator if I really figure it's important. Now, is the Capybara gonna attack? Yes, it is. And why is that? Because I don't mind actually triggering a Descent here for the Goblin. I don't care how they choose to block. Any kind of block is, or not blocking at all is gonna be fine for me. That gives the Goblin a counter. And also I'm almost at Descent 8 here. Yeah, the Spider is actually doing some nice work. They can't even attack with the Anchorage here before they deal with the Spider. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna explore. I'm quite likely to kill either the Levitator or something else they might have. Okay, this is a 6/6 for now. Well, I assume they have a counter spells. They can also, activate these just to have a blocker. So am I going to... let's make them counter the Knover here. Because it will, trigger Descent. Okay, they did not have anything of the sort. Huh. Well... I wonder if I'm supposed to just then destroy target artifact or enchantment. Let's try it at least. Okay. Well, now it feels like I should attack with everything or with everything but the Skull Taker. I don't care if they activate the land to have a 2/3 blocker. Yeah. I'm actually going to leave the Skull Taker home because it will pick up more counters this way. They're gonna have something, of course. That's a rare. Put a exile my graveyard. Oh, that's not a bad one. That's just a 4/4 now. Well, I'm still gonna trigger Descent for the Skull Taker, but yeah, that's a good one against me. I still think this is an okay, result. I actually get to kill all they have unless they have more tricks, which they could, of course, 2 cards in hand with 3 mana. Nope, they didn't want to do that block. All right. They have priority because they have the land activation. It's only 3 mana, so they necessarily don't have a spell in their hand that they could cast right now. Or maybe they do and they are figuring if they should do that or not. Well, Akavali is most likely going to die. Skull Taker is going to pick a counter. Okay, opponent. I mean, they have the Anchorage, the land activation. That's why they at least have a priority because of that. Okay, nothing happened and I have a 4/4 menace guy. I think the Skull Taker is quite nice. It's enough to pick one counter and you have a 3 mana 3/3 menace, which is a good stat line. Yeah, this is an annoying one. That's an annoying one for sure. They have an artifact. Yeah, they're gonna get Scries now, every turn. They still have a bunch of cards. Okay, they are gonna... This craft is 3 mana. They get a map token from here too. Yeah, so this one are gonna trade with the Nova, so am I supposed to just get my spell right now? I think I'm... No, I have a trigger for the... I'm taking the 2 here, because I want to rather guarantee another trigger here. Ray of Ruin. Exile creature vehicle non-basic land. Well, I guess I could exile the Anchorage thing, but let's first see what's my Discover gonna give me. Yes, I know I could have exiled 1/1, but I don't actually mind this happening like this. And it's going to be another chance. Well, I'm gonna pick that card right away. I don't have any other... Oh, I do. Yeah, this is pretty amazing actually. But I also can mill some other creatures because you have the option to mill, and I think I will mill. Okay, another Akawali, and well, I could have 2 of these, but I think it's better to have a Nova number 2. Because these are legendary, of course, so I can't cast both of them anyway. Don't have mana to cast them both, so well, I guess I'll do the 5-drop thing then. Oh, now they have a counter spell. It was about time for them to have it. This is a 5/5. This will not untap yet, but once it does, it's gonna be a big menace creature. Ooh, that's a very good one. Yeah, that's a really good one. It's gonna cost... Okay, they have a Zodiac Cliff. They have some very good draws now. Okay, so this is gonna craft with an artifact using 7 mana. They are not gonna draw a land on the next turn, though. Well, let's get rid of this so I can at least keep attacking here. I know I could have... That's not important. I know I could have exiled the land that would keep them away from, mana to do this, but they are not gonna draw an untapped land. Do they have it in their hand? Maybe they have, but this is gonna untap. So if they can't craft this on this turn, oh, they have that. Well, that's a shame. And they have now a 5/4 artifact. The lodestone needle becomes, and then they will discover 3 when... That's another 4 toughness creature, making my spider actually quite it's not very effective here. Okay, they're gonna raise. I know I could have jump blocked, but I don't think jump blocking is gonna make me win here any game. So play this thing, and I have a Death Touch already there. Although I can just play this too. Then I can't activate the Death Toucher. Well, I think I'm gonna just do this. Oh, they have also a flyer there. I have a reach thing. I have actually 2 reach things, but the problem is I can't block the flyer. I was supposed to leave this. I was supposed to leave this here for sure. If they attack with everything, I can't jump block with the frog. I think that's what I'm going to do. If they attack with the needle, I'm going to jump block with the frog. Okay, now they're gonna do this, and they're gonna get another 7. They can tap for another 4/4 right away. And then whenever this or another artifact enter the battlefield, yeah, they can start making these 4/4s. Alright. Well, let's have the marionette. Yeah, this is gonna be very nasty now. Can I mill 2? Yes, I can. That's 2 permanents, making this into a 5/5. It's just not gonna help too much, is it? I think I need to make this into a 7/7 or something. Yeah, I actually want these things to go to graveyard, so let's do that. I will have enough blockers here. They get to discover 3, that can be something nasty, of course. Yeah, them exiling my graveyard and then having, you know, this master's manufacture. Now, it's possible they are not... I don't think I'm gonna lose here. If they attack with everything, including the land here, I have enough blockers and I can take 2 from the land. Yeah, so they took actually a bunch of damage. They don't know what they're gonna draw here, so that was a risky move, I guess. But yeah, if they draw an artifact, they're gonna get another 4/4, and then I will lose. I mean, then I just can't push through, and they will overwhelm me. But if they drew like a land, it's... Oh, this is gonna give them a map token, so it's an artifact, and they're gonna get a 4/4. Now I get it. Now I get it. Well, at least I can kill the Restless Anchorage with the spider. Hey, they just drew that. They just drew that. Now I will lose if they attack with everything. Wow. I mean, I needed to get somewhat lucky there. So it's not really a surprise that they drew something like that. And I had no good way to attack through all these, including an extra 4/4 from the Anchorage. So yeah, that was nasty. I do think I want to keep my over the edge in here, but do I want to have something else in here, like Whatless Final Strike? Can that be useful? It's useful when I need to deal with this, but I have 3 dead weights. That's enough to deal with that. That was an annoying one. So it can make a counter on each creature that... Oh, this gets a counter for each creature that left the battlefield. Gain 2, scry 2. That's a nice one for sure. Not much I can do about most of that. I'm not sure the strike here is that good. I still think the spider is fine enough. And I wanna try the lantern. Maybe it is gonna be key to victory, who knows. Echo of Dusk. Yeah, about this, another big thing. They have bounce spells and the exile spells. I don't think a 6/6 dumb creature is gonna be that great. No, it's not. Alright, this is it. Let's hope I can have a good start here, because I will be on the play here. Hopefully I don't have to mulligan, and they don't have a, you know, the good rest that I saw. This is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. I don't have a 2-drop, but I do have the Skull Taker. Hopefully they won't counter it. No, I'm not gonna destroy my own thing. Is that an island? It's not an island, it's a tapped land, so Here it is gonna be the... I mean, it could be the Death Toucher too. But it's gonna be this. It has melee. They're not able to block it. And if they just have mana up for a counter spell, well, it's not gonna be so great for them either. Okay, so... Oh, okay, well that was a good one, because now I can actually both equip and play a 2-drop. Because I can't see my top card before. Okay, now I know I'm gonna get a counter, so I'm going to attack. I think the card is going to be good enough here to leave on top. Although it's a clumsy one. Actually, it's gonna go away. It's also gonna go away because that's gonna give another counter on the Scald. Yeah, that's actually a very good reason. I wanna get the extra counter EOT. But also that's gonna fuel Descent for the Echo of Dusk. It's actually not gonna, because it's not a permanent. But anyway, and that's also why it didn't give a counter to this. Yep. I've gotten so used to getting, mills into Descent stuff, but it did give a counter from this thing because it was a non-land for the Explorer, but of course it didn't have anything to do with Descent stuff, because it's not a permanent card. Now it is gonna be a land which I'm going to be able to draw. I wonder if I'm supposed to... I'm expecting a counter spell there for sure. I think getting rid of these 1/1s is fine. I'm not very close to a Descent 4 here, so let's just do this. Now they might have the flash rare, but I can't do anything about that. I'm not gonna not attack. They have the flash rare, so let's see how they choose to do it. They can exile my graveyard, but I know it actually doesn't do anything. A Ray of Ruin isn't gonna matter, so they get to gain 2 Endless Cry too. That's fine. I mean, they still gonna lose 2 creatures if they double block this guy, because it has menace, so I mean they have to double block, and now I can actually resolve my Cave Crawler. They keep 2 on top, that's bad. But I get to double spell, I get to play the Crawler and the Frog here. No, that's fine. They can gain some life from this thing if they want to. Don't think it matters too much. They chose to keep it on the battlefield. But there are 2 cards scryed to top. So they want to draw them both. There's that annoying thing. Okay, this means they have a counterspell. That's a pretty clear sign. Now, maybe they counter the Capybara. Let's see if they're gonna do that. Okay, now I should equip. Who's gonna get the counter if there's a non-land on top? Guess it can be the Crawler. I guess I can actually move it if I want to really, because I have the Frog here. Well, that wasn't a non-land, but I get to draw that land now, so let's just draw it. I don't mind trading with this guy. If they double block the 1/3, that's totally fine. Okay, in the presence of ages. No, none of that. So I can actually... Well, I can't do this, but there's only like no good target. But I can do this on the turn. I can get back my Goblin, and this would go to graveyard, but I don't think it matters too much. They don't want to attack. I guess because this can block and give itself death. That's now they can do the Tinker's Toad. I guess I could have used the over the edge to kill the Tinker's Toad. I again forgot that they can do stuff with the Abuelo here. Yeah. I probably was supposed to do that. Now they do that. I mean, I'm gonna block here. It has reach and death. That's when I use mana. I mean, there's probably a trick of some kind, but don't really care. I don't need to cast another chance in here. Okay, so I'm actually gonna trade with the frog here. Wow. Well, they're gonna get the toad again, but that's really not a big deal because the important thing is that they are first of all tapped out, so no counter spells. Well, I suppose I don't have anything to cast really, but also I don't have to worry about the Abuelo anymore. Now, I know I'm gonna draw a land, so they might triple block. I guess I will get this back with another chance, just no big deal. I can do something pre-combat like kill a gnome here. I don't think it's worth it. Let's just do this. Attack, let them block. I have only 9 minutes, but yeah, a lot of thinking here. So they go and kill one of those guys. I can't do anything about it. It's okay. And now I'm going to use this thing to get back. Come on, another chance. I don't know if I even need to mill here. I guess... I actually want to draw the Akavali. If I mill it, I can... I think I want to play the Skull Taker. It's gonna become a menace. Yeah, decline this mill. I want to draw that. And I want to get the Crawler and this thing. Now, I'm still quite far away from Descent 4 thanks to getting 2 permanents back from the graveyard. But he's gonna get the counter. And I'm assuming to... You know, get closer to Descent with this thing. Crewmate. Please don't find the blue-white uncome. Okay, they found nothing. That's good. Okay, they're gonna tap down something like the Skull Taker, I suppose. And then, yeah, I'm gonna actually kill that with the over the edge. That's one of the reasons I sideboarded it in. They can only craft as sorcery speed, so that's that. Okay, so I'm gonna need 2 mana to kill that. I am going to... Yeah, I am going to... I don't know if I have a land or a non-land on the top. That wouldn't matter now. But I suppose I'll just put this on this guy. Maybe it makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna make this into a 3/3 and I can... Not sure if I'm going to... I kind of want to keep it because it will mill too. Although they might have a counter spell for it. Although I think they're gonna counter something on this turn. Fine, I'm gonna keep it here. Let's see how they're going to block here. That's fine. That is fine. I need to really be careful about my time here. So now the point is that I'm going to maybe play the Crawler right now. Let them counter it. Because they can make, you know, blue mana with this thing and then, yep, like this. And then I will get rid of this thing so they don't get to explore so much. And this is gonna get a counter and, you know, at some point it will untap. Might take some time though. And they have this cave here, they can discover 4. But I have some gas here. myself. And also, they have used their rare, so they can't exile my graveyard unless they have a second copy of that. A counter spell, which is really bad for Discover. They can keep it in their hand, but I know of its existence, and it's pretty clumsy card to have mana up for. Alright, so now I'm gonna play my creatures, but of course I will play this because it might, probably makes me this guy to grow. Mill 2, yep, that's good. And then I can attack for 4 and then play the Akavali here, and they can have the counter spell in their hand and feel miserable about that. Now they really need to. I think I'm again at the spot where they basically need a removal spell, mass removal spell to do anything worthwhile now. Even if they get the uncommon that makes a 4/4, I think it's not good enough now. That's a uncommon descent for which they can bounce. Non-land permanent, yeah, but they don't have mana to counter it. Up to 1 non-land permanent. Yeah, they should probably bounce this goblin here. Although it's still gonna be locked down. Yeah, I don't know what they should do here. This 4/4 isn't gonna be a good blocker against any of this. It will only trade with the Capybara, which would be nice for me. And this can get also that. So amount of mana is 7. I can't cast all the spells, but I can. Yeah, I can do this. Is that a? Yeah, this is gonna be a 4/5. So there's no reason for me to. I'm actually going to let them trade with the Capybara. That's fine. Because I know I could have killed this thing and then played Akavali, but this is a good spot to be in regardless. Because if they want to, counter the Bitter Triumph, they need 4 mana for that. Now this is gonna untap 6/6 Menace. I really like this card. Yeah, that is not a mass removal spell. They can keep it like counters, but then they can't keep mana up for the out of air. Okay, they actually chose that. Sure. I'm going to pay 3 life, kill this, and game is over, and actually get a trophy here. Alright, nice. Very nice. I think I like the claw cap, the equipment here. I think it's cheap enough to move around, and well, it's only 1 mana to cast, but the moving around part is 2 mana, but I think it's nice. Okay, so I got my trophy run as my first recorded draft. This is my 3rd draft of the format. On the evening of the set releasing, I played it. It was so late that I didn't have the energy to record a draft. I played 2 drafts. The first one was also a 3-0 with a green-white deck. The second one was a 1-1-2 with a black-red deck. So out of 3 drafts, I have 2 trophies now. That's pretty nice, but it's of course early in the set and everyone is just learning how to draft, and it's a little bit of and it's traditional draft, so unranked, so there's all kinds of opponents there. Now quick recap. I'm not going to make this video much longer, but I do like the glow cap lantern. I think it's does enough things. The fact you get to know before attacking whether it's gonna be a land or not is that's what makes it worth playing. If you just explode, it's not so nice, because sometimes it matters if your creature is gonna pick up the counter or not. What else? Well, obviously stinging cave crawler is just good. This is very decent. Frog, a really decent 2-drop. I mean, even if you don't have a lot of expensive cards, and I don't, it's just nice to have a 2 mana 1/1 that adds any color of mana. Now this has reach and the ability to gain death touch, which makes it relevant later in the game too. I think it's maybe the best common 2-drop for green. I don't know what are the other options. Of course, there are like 3 or so 2-drops at common. I guess this is the 3rd one. And this capybara is what I also had. Oh, what else? Anything? Yeah, the Deep Goblin Skull Taker. If you get the one counter, and it's not that hard. I mean, you just attack with your 2-drop, maybe trade, maybe mill with some effect. There's so many ways to, trigger descent. And if you get one counter, it's gonna be worth a 3 mana, and any extra counters are gonna be just very nice. The Nova is, I mean, 5 mana 5/2 is not great, but it's good defensively. Opponent won't attack with their 4/4 into your 5/2 that gets your card. And even if you trade with like a 2-drop, a 2/2, you still get a 2-for-1. But mostly I played this because it's a card that easily, goes to graveyard, and it, adds to my descent count. The Bristleback and any other thing with the land cycling is gonna be, maybe decent enough to be run in decks that have the descent theme, which I did. And well, that's that. Fun event. I don't think this was really, I mean, this is a really impactful 4-drop, but I guess it's just a dumb creature anyway, but it has the stats and abilities to make a very, I would say it's a quite high pick when you know that you are drafting green, even if you are not a dinosaur deck. Yeah, and I think it was correct decision to leave this out of this deck. I don't really get to benefit from the 1/1s in any way. And the 3 mana 3/1 is of course not so good. So that's that. Ray of Ruin is just, I mean, there's like one of these kind of cards in every set. Black sorcery, sometimes instant, but usually sorcery, 5 mana. Deal with the creature, maybe get some bonus effect, but it's just a little bit expensive to run more than one in the main deck. And yeah, one thing was that I had the one matchup where I sideboarded this in. I guess if you know that it's a very slow matchup, you get some nice value out of this. Crafting with the creature isn't gonna be a problem. When you have a 7 mana, you will have a creature in your graveyard, and you get the the counters, which is gonna matter definitely, and then you get a 7/7 out of the deal if you get to 7 mana, and in a slow matchup you will, and that's why I think this is a good one to pick up in a draft when you play best of 3, so you can at least sideboard it in if you don't want to main deck it. Yep, that's it. I will see you in the next draft, hopefully in a couple of days. Let's claim the prize here, and let's hope the format remains interesting. I mean, I don't see anything bad in this format. Like there's maybe, hopefully not anything like hyper aggressive decks and all the color pairs. As long as they are at least playable, I'm happy. Let's hope that will be the case also after a couple of months of this format. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.